Hello, beautiful stars. So I'm going to be doing Pisces. And I think yesterday when I did the Cancer, I don't know why in the world. I don't know. It's, kind of like Gemini. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that a lot. But anyway, I'm going to be doing the first, second, and third deacon for Pisces. The fishes. Yeah, because, yeah, that's what it is. The crabs, they swim. They swim deep. You know what I'm saying? Up, high, low, whatever. Crabs are a lot like they're very versatile. You know what I'm saying? And then with the fish, the fish, they swim deep. They swim wide. They be shallow water, deep water, just as well as the damn crab does. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's why they're so good at catching crab too. But yet, the bigger they get, the deeper they go. Anyway, so now I'm on the Pisces, the fishes. And so what we need to know about the Pisces, first, second, and third deacon, we're going to start with the Pisces, the first deacon of Pisces. None but the highest light, God Almighty, archangels, ancestors, evil is never welcome here, okay? First deacon, there we go. Quiet retreat. Then flipped over so smooth, like... I don't really be talking like that, man. I don't know. I just be messing, okay? It's time to disconnect from the outer world so that you can discern and process your true thoughts and feelings from your inner world. All right, it says create this quiet time for yourself and you'll have more clarity about what you want to do next or what you need to do next. Okay, so the first deacon, Pisces. They're basically saying it is time, to disconnect from the outer world so that you can discern and process your true thoughts and feelings from your inner world. So, you probably have, with your dual nature, you probably have a lot of things that are merged together. And so technically what they're saying you need to do is to disconnect, from things, possibly things that you have merged together. You need to disconnect them. Whatever you have going on in your inner world and with your outer world that you have merged together, you need to disconnect both of these two items in order to find out what it is that is conflicting. I'm hearing, possibly you have something that is linked up together. And in order to be able to discern what it is that is causing a problem, whatever it is that's on the outskirts of your life, regardless if it's a person, place, or thing, or wherever you may be working. I'm hearing something dealing with work. And you might have something that is linked to work that you need to disconnect from your inner world, basically meaning like your personal space. You need to disconnect something in order to be able to discern what the problem is or if there is a problem. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when you disconnect your inner from your outer, whatever that may be for you, then you can possibly find out what it is that you need to find out and get clarity on what it is that you need clarity on. Because sometimes, when we have all of our things mixed up in one bowl, mixed up in situations or whatever the case may be, when you be able to disconnect things, then you'll know what you need to reconnect to and what you need to keep disconnected. Understand what I'm saying? Push everything away that is not needed. You know what I'm saying? That's on the outside. And sit back and watch. See what stops. See what fixes itself. See what it is that you need to see. And then instantly you'll know. Yeah, instantly you'll know. So when you get centered, you'll be able to see exactly what it is and exactly what you need to free yourself from. Technically, that's what I'm hearing. You need to free yourself from something. It could be anything. It could be technology. It could be a certain food. You might be eating something. Like me, I'm crazy when it comes to this stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? And I put a little bit of butter on it, y'all. And that's me. So like one time I had I had ate some and did that like 2-3 days straight and didn't eat nothing else but just the popcorn. And child, when I tell you, I think I messed my little self up, messed my little tummy up, child. So then I had to sit back and I was like, okay, let me like not eat it for a couple of days. So what I ended up doing, I got me some coconut water and I drank that, and instantly that made me feel better with the raw cabbage, and not touched it for about 2 or 3 days. Everything was good, you know what I'm saying? So now I know I'm not going to just indulge in this and just be all cuckoo, because when you do something on a regular basis, constantly, it tends to not be good for you. You know what I'm saying? But we can do whatever we want to do. You know that, right? Okay. So just disconnect. Just to see what it is, and then you'll instantly know what your problem is, regardless of what it may be. All right. So that's for first deacon. Now we're going to go into second deacon. Second deacon, Pisces, and that was quick. Okay, it says release resentment about money. All right, it says yes. The money system of the world can seem, unsettling, but holding resentment about finances just pushes your abundance away from you. You know what I'm saying? So technically, basically what this card is saying, when you resent money and you resent anything dealing with finances, basically what it's going to do is just push it away from you. It's going to be further and further and further. Things are going to get worse and worse. That could also be something you need to disconnect from, the resentment of things, of anything. Okay. It says, and this shift will help you attract support and, golden opportunities. Yeah. So like golden opportunities, you know what I'm saying? Yes, everything is tight right now. Yes, people are cutting hours. Yes, everybody's, technically on a dog-eat-dog world almost. Everybody ain't like that, but a lot of people are. And everybody's going to look out for themselves, because everybody has this mentality: if I don't look out for myself, nobody else is going to. But there is, help out there too at the same time. And everybody ain't even on that time either at the same time, but yet you do have to take care of yourself. So therefore, you do have to adjust your mental as well. I have to remind myself of this all the time. All the time. And then sometimes I just be like, you know what? This is not going to be me. It'd be like that. And you just have to look at it like that, period. And you have to not only be hoping, because we've learned that hope is basically saying you don't know. And if you don't know, then guess what? Not knowing is not making it work, is not moving things along, moving the energy forward. You have to go with knowing. I know. You have to know. Okay? Okay, so we're going to go on ahead and jump into the third deacon, because your girl is pressed for time, Chad. Nothing but the highest light. God Almighty, archangels, ancestors, evil is never welcome here. Yeah. Third deacon, Pisces. God is your source. And that is the 100% God honest truth. God is your source. All right. Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source of God. And your faith opens the doorway to receive. To receive in God. There is no lack, or limitations. Rather, there is plenty of abundance for all to share. There's plenty. If everybody thought that way, the world would be in so much better shape. Too many people are being too greedy. You know what I'm saying? Too many people are being greedy. And that is what makes you resentment. Makes you resent money. You know what I'm saying? Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source. And it is. And don't ever forget that. Your faith will always open doorways. This is for third deacon. Your faith will always open doorways. Knowing. I was just talking about this before this card even came. Knowing. God is real. We know this. We all know this. It's just that some people, for some reason, think that God ain't working or not paying attention. I don't know what the deal is, but it be tripping me out. But needless to say, everything you need, it will be supplied. It will be supplied. If you have that faith, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Yeah. Repeat after me like you always do. Some of you guys, anyway. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Okay. And so that was for the third deacon. And then I'm going to pull one for all, first, second, and third, and then we're going to put them all together. Okay. For all. What is it that all need to know? Nothing but the highest light, God Almighty, archangels, ancestors, evils never welcome here. Okay. What is it that for all, first, second, and third? First, second, and third, Pisces. First, second, and third. First, second, and third, Pisces. First, second. There we go. There we go. And this right here says release jealousy. A lot of times jealousy will cause, a lot of things to slow down. Jealousy is an affirmation. Jealousy is an affirmation that you don't have something. And the universe manifests exactly as you affirm. All right, it says, let other people success inspire rather than frustrate you. If they can have it, so can 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 you. And that is the God honest truth. I don't know. I don't know people's deals sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You can feel when things aren't right. You know what I'm saying? You know when things aren't right. And you know when things are correct. You know when people are casting illusions, and you know when they're not. Whether you picked up on certain things right now or not, sooner or later, walking in the divine light, you will. God do not like his peoples being in the blind. He will not allow it. Everything comes to light. Okay? Regardless if we fuck up or not. We're all human. We all get stuck in our egos sometimes, and we all do things we're not, proud of at one point in time in our lives. And sometimes we will repeat things, sometimes we won't. Sometimes we learn, sometimes we don't. And you know when things are right and when they're not. And so when things aren't right, be sure to go into your quiet retreat and disconnect negative from your positive. Disconnect what you think is positive and you're unsure. Disconnect from it, because sometimes that might be a negative. If you're unsure about something and you think it might be helping but yet it's not, disconnect from it. Then you'll be able to see if things get better or not. Okay? Quiet retreat. Okay, quiet retreat. Release resentment about money. Release resentment about money. Do not be mad at the energy just because, certain things aren't working out in your favor. That means something else you might need to be working on. Okay? Just because other people get more than you does not mean you're not going to be able to succeed. Just because someone is breathing air does not mean it's going to stop you from breathing air. There's much air. Just because someone gets money does not mean it's going to stop you from getting money. You know what I'm saying? If somebody feels like you need to disappear from the equation in order for themselves to win, then that's where they're going to be in a very, very, very unsettling situation when it comes to their mental health. because they're going to soon realize it doesn't work like that. Sometimes God will put them in a situation to where they'll have to learn that another person's existence is not subtracting from theirs. Okay? That is a mental illness. Oh, if they're here, then I'm not going to get this or I'm not going to get that. Well, even if it has something to do with a man. You know what I'm saying? Because if this person is around and let's just say this man chose them, then guess what? If that person ain't around, that it don't make the man choose you. You know what I'm saying? Because if a man is not 100% in your corner and they chose somebody else over you because they might have thought that person was better, that motherfucker was never going to be in your corner anyway. So be happy and glad that that shit happened. That happened for the best. Because they was never going to do right by you anyway. If anybody can come up to a person to make them, switch, they're no good for you. They're not loyal. And they never will be. I don't care what mistakes they might have thought they made. Their mistake is something they're going to have to live with. Just don't do it to the next person. All right. So, release resentment when it comes to money, because money is infinite. Okay? Okay, getting cut off. But like I was saying, I'm about to close this out. But anyway, release jealousy. That's not a good look. Sometimes people take this jealousy thing to the extreme to where, they feel like they can't control a situation, control people, or whatever. They lose their shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it'd be a crime of passion or whatever you want to call it. And then they be in control, all right. It don't even work out that way. What ends up happening is that their lives end up being controlled because they're now in a controlled environment. Controlled and climate controlled environment at that. For a very long time, sometimes forever. Because they couldn't control their own emotions. So release jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Know that you're provided for. Know everything's going to work out. And, stop with the negative vibes, when it comes to your, money flow. Because, everything is infinite and it's unlimited. And God has told you He's going to provide regardless. So just keep knowing. And just keep knowing and keep swimming and keep swimming and keep knowing. And I love each and every one of you guys. And be sure to like, share, subscribe. This is...